Hey everybody, Danny Maude here. Thanks for joining us. Did you know that if you don't rotate correctly in your backswing and your downswing, you end up having a golf swing that's too heavily reliant on your hands and your arms? When that happens, you lose distance and you lose consistency of strike. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things that you can do to improve the quality of your rotation in your backswing and your downswing, no matter your age. I'm aware that not everybody can swing. Very few people can swing like a tall player. You don't need to. Small improvements in your rotation on the way back, on the way through, can make a massive difference. I'm going to show you how to do that today. Before I do though, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first videos of mine, please consider subscribing. Just press that little bell button next to subscribe button, you get notified every time I release a video just like this one. Plus, you never have to remember a thing. I always put a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. So take a look at this. Ever seen this at impact? Flicky, armsy strikes, or lifting up here, or rolling in here, or just generally armsy style swings. If you ever see that, it's simply down to a lack of rotation, because watch. That all disappears when suddenly we rotate our bodies correctly, okay? See, when your hands and armsy, the club's very unstable, it's all over the place. It's going to lead to a lot of inconsistencies, but if our bodies rotate correctly, we stabilize it, okay? And that's all the way through the swing. Same at impact. If we get flicky, it's because we aren't rotating correctly through impact. But how do you go about learning the feel of this, okay? Well, the first thing I want you to do is we're going to work on the mobility of the lower body and the upper body first, okay? So here's what I want you to do here. Get yourself set, and I want you to have a look now at my backside. Mighty fine backside it is. Okay, and this is what naturally needs to happen. We don't think rotate, we think right pocket goes backwards and around. So it goes back and towards the target, back and towards the target. This is the actual direction. Can you see this? And if I exaggerated it, my bum's going really this way. What it's putting me in, look, it's putting me into a pulling position, a strong position to eventually, look, when I go here, to then start the downswing. If I haven't gone backwards and I've stayed here, you can see here, I'm not in a great position now to start. I might slide, okay, but I'm not really strong, so I'm going to be forced to use my upper torso to generate power. If I've slid backwards and around, now look, I'm in a position to really pull and then drive through. So that's a sensation. Now, I'm aware that you might not be able to get this hit back as far as I can, or maybe even rotate it. That's fine. Just, you'll see some people lifting their lead heel. One of the reasons why they do this is to allow this turn, allow some mobility so they can unlock this area. Because when you unlock it, you start to get more rotation. So just get that sensation to create that mobility there if you can. You'll notice my leg here is straightening a little bit, not fully straight, but all this is helping me create that mobility, all right? Now, once you've done that, that's the mobility element, but you do need stability, okay? Now, stability is very similar to like throwing a ball. If I throw a ball, and you can do this with me now, I feel like just to feel this, it's very important that you almost do this with me. It's like stand on one leg and feel that strength and stability in that leg. From there, I can use that stability to look, push off. If that leg was kind of wobbly or sliding or the ankle's all over the place here, I'm not in balance, yeah? So whenever this is out of balance down here, you have to move up the body to generate the power. And that's when you become handsy and armsy and you lose your power and you actually lose your strike. So you also need stability. So the sensation here is this. When I'm moving back, I'm still got this foot nice and stable in there. I really feel like there's some tension there. Now I don't have tension. Now I do, okay? So watch out for that when you're doing this motion, okay? Get that sensation. Now, once you've got this motion, all you've then got to do is start to feel this into your backswing. And what I like to do initially with people to help their torso work as well is to get their head almost moving up to the sky, looking up to the sky just as an exercise, because the angle of these hips and this movement here is also this way. Yeah, can you see this? The hips are not working in a turning fashion, they're working upwards. Why would they work upwards? Well, because we need to hit back downwards. So we're almost setting ourselves up, look, to go back down to that golf ball, okay? So a simple exercise is to then, when you're moving this back, just also get some flow, look up to the ceiling a little bit, get a feel for where you need to be heading. And that should give you that mobility and stability in your backswing, which moves us on now to step 2, where we can now bring in the golf club and show you how to position it. So let's now do this with a club in our hands. So all I want you to do is stand with your back against the wall, about a club and a half width away. take your normal stance and grip. Now, we said bum goes back and then towards the target. This is that sensation, providing that space. Make some swings doing this, okay? Now, as I'm doing this, I'll look at this. I'm avoiding, look, that club hitting the wall. How am I doing that? I'm doing it by not rolling my wrists, trying to turn my shoulders, trying to turn my hips. All that will get you smashing into this wall. I'm pushing back while simultaneously avoiding it. It's a great way to feel all the correct motions, okay? Now, you might not be able to get all the way back like I can. Doesn't matter, okay? Get back as far as you can, and where possible, if you want, allow that lead heel to come up to really help you get the bum further back and around to, again, load that backswing up here within your flexible limits. It's as simple as that. Everybody can do this to some degree, so test it out. Then what we'll do, look, we'll move on to the next stage. So once you've got the feel of this, it's now time to hit some golf balls. So let me show you how you do it. So you can't just rush into this and rush into work on the downswing. We're going to come to that in a second. What I want you to do is put your attention maybe just around that rear pocket, that trail pocket area, right? Just pay attention, feel it moving backwards and then look towards the target. Backwards and towards the target. Hold that finish for a second, backswing. Are you still stable or have you collapsed? Just pay attention to that, just a little bit. Get that sensation, okay? Imagine the wall behind you then. Have a look, are you avoiding the wall, okay? And finally, once you start flowing and you want to add some flow, maybe allow the head to move up there just as the drill, look up to the sky. Again, this is going to help you work upwards rather than look around into the wall, okay? Just get that sensation. Once you're ready, okay, start to then follow through. Up and down, just rehearsing it. And if you ever get to a stage where you go, Danny, there's a bit of tightness there, it's a bit uncomfortable, feel it a bit too much pain in my back, no problem. Do either one or two things. Just release that heel just to allow the rotation on the way back to go a bit further, or just go a bit shorter. Remember, this isn't about necessarily completing your backswing. This is adding rotation to your golf swing so that you're not just hands and arms, okay? Even if you can only get to here, as long as you've rotated, it's better than just getting to there with just an arms motion, okay? So get that sensation, and when you feel ready, put a ball on a tee, hit a few shots, and focus on that before we work on the downswing. Again, I'm not after any decent shots, I'm just trying to get a sense of that turn, that movement. Let's have a look, nice and simple. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we get that sensation, we get that movement going, okay? And I would spend that could be a session in itself, yeah? Just really sensing that motion, getting yourself, pre-programming yourself for this downswing. And you're almost there. If you think about the downswing now, we're almost there, because if you're here, okay, and you haven't kind of really rotated very much, well, you're not in a strong position. But look at this. When we push back, we're almost going to sit here. We're in this kind of pull position, and that's that sensation, okay? That's what I want you eventually, that's what is going to kickstart your downswing. Because once you're here, what's going to happen is I'll show you the technical way to do it, and I'll give you a drill in a second. This is going to push back. It's not going to try to turn. That doesn't make any sense. We're going to push it back. As that gets pushed back, it gives you the optical illusion that you're turning. As that happens, suddenly now, pushing back, this is going to open up and deliver that club look through that golf ball for you, okay? Now, I find you can think about those things, but sometimes they can be quite complicated. So what I like to do, and I encourage people to do the same, is this. Most people, when they get to the top of the backswing here, they can't resist turning. So I don't want you to do that. Instead, what I'd like you to do is you've got that, you've nailed the backswing, you're in that position here. I want you to imagine playing almost like a snap release, okay? Where it's almost a punch style shot, because when you go punching, you're trying almost to stop a bit short like this. What your body's doing is it has to react by putting on the brakes. Does that make sense? So just like when you throw a ball, when you throw it, you don't go like this. What you do is you land, that puts on the brakes, which then fires the arm. You don't go. So a lot of times when we're trying elegant follow-throughs, it's actually stopping these hips from rotating correctly, okay? So you get yourself set. Once you've got that sensation here, I don't want you to be rotating your shoulders. In fact, if anything, almost resist these and just literally practice punching and finishing nice and short here. And again, just the mere action of doing that will create a braking system in the legs naturally to fire that club, okay? Let's have a look at this in action. So, nice and small, okay? I'm going to get the rotation and I'm going to literally put that braking system in play. Now, I've gone too far there, okay? But I broke about here. And that's really, really normal. A lot of people do that. Like, they try and brake and they brake a little bit too late, just like I did. That's okay, but I'd like to brake earlier, even earlier than I've just done there. Okay, I'd like to brake much, much more there. That's more like it. Because what's going to happen there is I'm more likely now to really fire those hips, okay? Or fire the legs in the correct way, okay? So those are the things I want you to focus on. Improve the quality of your rotation on the way back. That alone means you've stored some energy, okay? And rather than try to fire the hips or do anything like that, fire the club, bring it in short. All those things are going to create the right body motions naturally for you without putting your body under too much strain, okay? So I really, really hope you enjoyed this. Unlock some of that rotation in the backswing, get some of that snap in the downswing, and let me know in the comments how you get on. Love for you if it helps. Remember, if you're new to the channel, come and join the community by pressing that subscribe button and the bell, and I always put a free download practice guide in the description box below, so you'll never have to remember a thing. But until next week, have a great golfing week.